Well, welcome back everyone. It is Ryan Homestead Project Skoolie Edition, episode number 10. Have I ever mentioned how much I love this ramp? Anyway, we have a lot going on in this video. Primary focus of this video is a great deal of discussion on the AC electrical distribution system in this bus. Trying to get that all in place and get it finalized so that I can get all my power equipment in. I've got all my service entrances installed. Shore power. I've got pressure water feed and excuse me, and I've got my drain for my water tanks in. Still got a few more things to install, but we've got a lot to talk about, a lot to go over, so let's get started. Well, welcome back, YouTube. It is Saturday, March 15th. A new day, a new week, and a new episode. We are now on episode 10 of this long and laborious little project that we call building a school bus. We've got a lot to talk about. Don't have any historical video for this week because I didn't have much time and was just working at night. So I'm going to give you, in typical fashion, a rundown of some of the things that I did get done over the week, and then we'll move on into doing some other things and pulling this thing together a little bit at a time. So let's take a walk and see what we got done. Well, the first thing that I want to show you is that I've got a lot of electrical circuits installed and brought into my electrical panel. This is my split phase panel that's going to be running off of my 24 volt system. The primary purpose of this panel is for my dual zone mini split system that I'm going to be putting in here. I did add a few other circuits in here for convenience. I've got a spare 240 volt plug that's going to go back to the garage area. I put my microwave on this side and put it on this panel, and a few other small circuits here and there. It seemed like a lot going into this panel, but rather than kind of combining circuits together and things like that, I have dedicated circuits for just about everything. That way, if I need to isolate something, I can isolate something specific as opposed to killing an entire circuit and may not be able to use something that I really want to use. So there's a lot of circuits in there, but they're all very specific and intended purpose, so that I can isolate circuits as I need to based on power consumption, recharge rates, all of that kind of stuff, and whether or not I'm on shore power. And if I come over to the other side, this is the 12 volt inverter single phase panel. I've got a lot of circuits run into here. Most of those are for the primary electrical circuits that I'm going to be running. As you can see, I've got a ground fault for my kitchen circuits. I've got circuits that are running forward. I got one for my fridge. I got two up there for the living room on this side. And then I've got, haven't done it yet, but I'm going to be running a circuit to the back for the bedroom to provide some plugs back there for AC power if I need it. But as you can see, I got it all in, got it all connected. The other ends of the wires aren't connected, but it's all in. And I just did this one or two circuits at a time after work every day during the week until I got it done. Still not completely done over here. I need to bring in some more wiring. I do want to show you right here, this 6.3 with ground wire right here is actually my shore power input. And speaking of shore power input, let's take a walk. I'll show you something else. All right, speaking of shore power input, there it is. Got my shore power input on the outside. It's installed right there, 50 amp service going in, 6.3 wire. One of the things that I did, if we can see it, is I've got that PVC conduit there running across the underside of the bus. as opposed to trying to bring that big cable and run it through the floor. I ran it underneath, and I'll walk you over and show you how it goes up into the other side. The other thing that I did, I have my drain for my water tanks installed. It's not hooked up to anything on the inside, but it is installed and ready to rock and roll. One of the other things that I got in is my pressure water feed. So this is actually the primary pressure water feed. This doesn't have anything to do with the tanks. It's just a shore water inlet, and will pressurize the internal systems of the water tank. So now let's walk over to the other side and let me show you how that shore power is going up on the over there. So as you can see, there it is coming across the bus, coming over here, and then I've got this short sweep 90 going up right through the floor right there, and it goes up to the inside of the bus. I'll take you on the inside and show you where that's coming out at, because I forgot to do that when we were in there talking about it. But inside of there is that 6'3" cable, and it goes up. I did have to put some lube into that pipe to get that cable to run around that bend, but I got her in and got her up in place. So now we can go inside, and I'll show you where this is coming into the equipment cabinet inside, so you can see how that's working. Yeah, before we get there, I do got to say that I just love this ramp. I'm glad I had this idea. It sure makes getting in and out of this bus a whole lot easier. All right, so there it is. There is the wire coming through the wall there. I've got a couple of fittings. I've got that coupling there set up so that when I put the plywood on the wall, it's going to squeeze down and be just the right thickness to squeeze down onto the plywood and hold all of that in place. If I come around the other side, excuse me, there's where it comes up through the floor. You can see the cable. I do have slack in the cable there for a reason. I want to be able, if I have to do maintenance on the shore power inlet on the other side, I've got some slack that I can pull that out and be able to work on it without it being tight. So I'm gonna have to figure out a way to secure that under the cabinet so that it doesn't get in the way, but I do have slack in it by design and with intent. I've also got a little bit of extra in here just in case I need it, but I think that's going to be more than enough. My EMS is going to go right there. It's going to come out of that pipe and go right into the EMS. Out of the EMS, it'll go into the inverters, which, if you remember, I said we're going to be between those two sets of parallel lines back there, and they'll feed into that. So we've got quite a bit going on with the power distribution. You can see some of the wires here. If you remember, I told you that a lot of those, they were 10-3, 12-3, all of that. So I ran the extra red wire that I needed to provide me the 240 circuit. This is going to the outside mini split unit. Going back to the back, I have the same thing back there, but I've got those all in and running connected now. I've got my panel labeled so I don't forget what I've got going on here. I'm going to clean all of that up and fix that up, and this will be covered in plywood up here. I'm going to have to space out up here so it'll come down over the top of the wires and just hold them into the wall when I'll get all that cleaned up. But that's what I've been after. One of the other things that I did this morning, just got started. It's actually fairly late in the afternoon, but try to get this place cleaned up a little bit. We're supposed to have some pretty bad weather tomorrow, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to get anything done in here tomorrow. But I did pretty much get it cleaned up because I was falling all over everything. I also had to get all of the shavings from drilling all the holes. I do want to show you in here. So this is, where did I put my light? All right. Trying to get it so that the light don't glare, but there is the pressure water input right there. Down there in the bottom you can see the fitting for the drain, and then the shore power is actually running underneath and across, pretty much underneath this channel, but it is underneath the bus instead of up here inside, because as you can see there's not a lot of room. This channel is actually proving its worth. I'm glad I had that idea, because otherwise it would be a problem trying to get all of this stuff running through the ceiling or otherwise, and I don't want water pipes outside the bus. So that's where we're at. That's what we've done so far this week. I do have a few things that I want to do. I want to try to get my equipment cabinet set up so that I can start installing electronics and get them out of my bar and actually get them in here where they belong. But I want to finish the walls up. I've got some things that I want to do there. So we will close this particular section of the video out. We'll be back shortly and we'll start something new. Well, I'm back. Holy cow, it's much later, but you should see what I got myself into. Let's take a walk and I'll show you what's going on. Look at all that pretty blue. I went ahead and dry fit and placed my inverters over here so that I could finish running the electrical circuits and get that all set in place, so I knew what I needed to do. Made sure I had all the right parts, and I'm glad I did, because I got to go to the lumberyard tomorrow. Anyway, so it was if anybody has ever said these things are heavy, that's an understatement. I'm telling you right now, they weigh a lot, and that was a real challenge getting them in there and getting them up there, especially with the fact that I have maybe 16 inches worth of clearance to get my body in there to be able to pick them up and put them on the brackets. One of the other things I had to do, I'll show you, I had to put some 3/4 inch plywood in the back to actually elevate the top of the inverter. The reason being is that the overall length of them, if I matched it with the top of the plywood wall, I wouldn't be able to use the batteries of the drawer. So I had to raise those up. So I put that 3/4 inch plywood back there, raised them up. The one thing that really bothers me is I was trying to get them dead on, but the one on the right in the screen is just a little bit lower, about 1/4 inch. So when I do this permanently, I'm going to take those pieces of plywood, cut them all to exactly the same length and width, and do that so that I can make sure that these things are lined up level and square and look like one single piece of equipment in there. But that's what I did on this side. So what I need to do is I need to figure out the shore power inputs out to my EMS, which is going to be in this area right here. Now this is going to be split phase, so I'm going to have to do 2 wires from it. I'll have to split the neutral, but everything else will be independent. The other thing that I have to do is my split phase out, which will go from one inverter into the panel and the other inverter and into the panel again, and be able to tie them in. This 50 amp breaker right here is the actual power input from the inverters that will take the AC output out of the inverters and energize the panel. For the record, this is a 100 amp breaker that came with the panel. It will not be used. It will always be off. It does not have any impact on it. I was looking at a way to take it off, but it's not easy, so I just left it alone. And the same thing holds true on the other side as well. Speaking of the other side, let's go over here. Boom, 12 volt AC inverter on this side as well. Did it for the same reason. I want to be able to get all the wiring that I need in place. I need to run, this is actually my shore power input from over here on, I have a 30 amp breaker over here somewhere that has my, it's a 30 amp single phase breaker that comes out of here, runs underneath the floor there, comes up right here, and this will be the AC in for shore power into this inverter. And then I'll have AC out 1, which will run to this side of the panel, which is the inverted side. And then I'll take AC out 2, and that'll run to this side. This side will only have power when shore power is on. And I haven't run any circuits to it yet because I haven't figured out what I want to put on it, and which is why everything's still open. But I'm going to be running circuits over here so that if I have shore power connected, whether it be my generator or a pedestal at an RV park or wherever the case may be, and I have shore power connected, then I can use the breakers on this side and energize what I need based on being on shore power and only running off of shore power which would be the AC2 output out of this inverter. These things cost a lot of money, so I'm trying to figure out ways to utilize every single possible benefit, capability, everything that it has. I'm going to use all of it, so I'm going to get my money's worth out of them. But that's what I did since the last time I talked to you, and we'll close it out for today right here, and then we'll pick it up again tomorrow and find out what else we can get into. Well, welcome back, everyone. It is Sunday, the 16th of March. It's been a rough day. Did not get anything near what I wanted to do done today. Had some issues with the weather. Went to the lumberyard to get some components, which was a total waste of time and money. Got to the store and the power went out. Their emergency backup stuff kicked in and was able to get a bunch of stuff, but it appears that everything that I got I can't use. So I'm going to give you a rundown real quick on what I did get done today, and try to explain it as quickly as I can so I can wrap this up. So if you look right here, you see the red heat shrink on this wire, and then this wire right here, the black one right here on top. So this is the 30 amp input to my panel here. This is the AC2 out. If you remember when I was talking about this earlier, I was describing that I'm going to use both AC1 and AC2. This only has power when shore power is applied. So on this particular panel, it energizes this side of the panel bus. This one right here will always have power from the inverter, and so this will always have inverted power on it when power is applied to the inverter. I've got the wires running down, coming out right here. So this is my shore power input, which if we look down here, we'll go right here. This is the one with the, I got them tied together so that I can lose them. The red one right there. This is my AC2. That's going to go right here, and the other one is going to go right here. One of the things that I tried to do is make sure that they were all the same length. I see a lot of stuff about Victronic specs that. I don't know if that applies to just DC or AC. My opinion is if I can keep them all the same length, why not? And that's what I did. So here are my neutral connections for both AC1 and AC2. I got them both tied to the same place. Line feeds, and then the grounds are right next to each other over here as well. So that takes care of what I was able to do on this side. Let's go to the other side and look at the 24 volt split phase side. So I'm going to grab my lamp and bring it over so we can see what I got going on. Alright, so looking at this, it's kind of difficult because it's really dark in here. But I need to move this so that it's not so blurry. Alright, so this is my 50 amp input breaker from the inverters. The black one on top, red one on the bottom, and I've kept that same convention throughout all of my split phase circuit breaker panels, or circuit breakers, excuse me. Always have black on top, red on bottom in every single instance where I've got a double pole breaker. So the two power feeds come in, they're split down here because one's coming from one inverter and the other, let me see if I can get a little bit of light on it so you can see it, but yeah, right there. So black lines coming here, red lines here, they both come out, go through this Liquidite, which is what I was talking about was a total waste of money because I can't use it on the inverters. It won't fit, won't work. It's too rigid. I can't get it to conform. So I'm gonna have to, I will be using part of it, but when it goes up into the inverter, I won't have that there. But anyway, so if you look right here, this is the black line. The black line will go to the inverter on the left. Look at the other one. It's got the red line. The red line will go to the inverter on the right, keeping them separated, keeping them identified. The other thing that I did was try to sort out. So this is my shore power input, and I've cut it off. This is my energy management system. The power input from shore power will go into this. It will read that and tell me if I got problems or not. From there, it will come out through here. It will loop back around into here. And in this particular box right here, I'm going to use Dinkle connectors because I have the need to split, because I'm going to have a single neutral, single ground. I'm sorry, single neutral, single ground, and then my red and black wires coming out of here. Coming into this, I'm using the Dinkle because I'm going to have to split my ground and my neutral so that I can provide two outputs. One that will go to here for shore power in, and one that will go over there for shore power in. So it's all coming together, and that's what I've been able to work on today. Here are the actual outputs right here. This mess of cables that you see right here. Let me move this so you can see it. Get a little bit more light on the subject. But this is my red side, black side. These are my two lines. Then I've got my two grounds and my two neutrals, which will come out of that box split from a single neutral and ground input on the input side out of the EMS. So that's what I've been able to do. Trying to get all of these wires through this Liquidite was definitely not easy. One of the hardest things to try to get done was to get those 3 6-gauge wires through those 90 degrees, because I tried to use a straight one and it just wouldn't bend to the clearance that I had. Fortunately, while I was there, they didn't have enough of the straight one, so I got the two 90s, and I had the 90s and was able to use them, and they worked. So, but it was definitely not easy. Yeah, we've been having a lot of really strong winds and stuff today, and got caught in a traffic jam coming back from the lumberyard. But anyway, so what I'm going to be doing at this point now is I'm going to more or less get these inverters out of here. I'm going to secure and tie up all these cables and get them out of the way. I'm going to get all of that out of the way, and hopefully by the time we get back here next week, the inside of this box will be finished, and I'll be doing all the final installs of all the DC power equipment in here, and we'll start working on some DC wiring instead of AC wiring. But at this particular point, this panel on this side, the split phase panel, is pretty much fully wired. I can't think of anything else that I need to add to it. I am going to go back and clean up the wiring and all of that. I just pulled everything together just to get it installed, but I'm going to clean it up and make sure that everything's sorted and neat, and I don't like the way it looks right now. Going to do the same thing on the other side. But that's where we're at right now. One other thing that I did want to show you, I'll take it for a walk over to my diesel heater and show you one more thing. Alright, so here we are at the diesel heater, and I am going to go ahead and pull this up out of the way and move it off to the side. I am going to pick this up out of the way, and you can see that I actually opened up the hole so that this will actually fit all the way down inside of there and actually secure tightly. And if you look down through there, you can see all the way to the ground. Kind of bright out there. The camera's not working very well on that, but it is set and ready to go. So at this point, I can actually get my diesel heater installed and get all of that stuff there. I just need to get some power to it. Got some cold weather coming, so I'm hoping that I can get this thing in place and running, if nothing else, on a temporary battery, so that I can check and make sure that it works. But more to come on that as well. But I just wanted to update you. I did this yesterday afternoon after we finished up with that last section of the video, and pulled that together. And now I spent the day working on that electrical. That was not easy, and it took me a lot longer than I thought it would, so I did not get near as much done as I wanted to. But anyway, that's where we are right now. If I can think of something else that I want to do, I'll get it done, shoot a little bit more video, but otherwise I'm going to see about closing this up and getting it posted so we can move on to the next one. Have a great day. Oh, and by the way, happy St. Patrick's Day for everyone.